All right, we also record almost everything because we want you to be able to get the information that's shared by these employers, whether or not you can join us live. So what we think is that preparation is key. So again, early and often exposure. We have 2 series of events that we run. One, EmployerConnect, which is this is part of Everybody is Welcome. We also then run a separate SkillBridge Connect that is just for SkillBridge opportunities. There is a special group here. We actually have at least one of the staff here from one of our partners, Werner, if you're out there, Werner from Werner Pet School from the University of Arizona Global Campus. Thank you for being here so often. But we want to thank all of our partners for really taking an active role in career readiness for the students that they serve every day. So if you're here from one of these schools, thank you so much. Let them know how much we appreciate their efforts to share out these events. Certainly take advantage of your school's career services. All right, so a little bit of quick housekeeping. Please feel free to use the chat box to connect with others that are here with us today. It looks like y'all are doing that. I love it. If there's anybody here that doesn't know how to hyperlink their URL, I'm going to quickly show you. So you go to view profile, contact info. The most important thing is you want to grab that section that says HTTPS so that it's a live link when you copy and paste it. All right, so I'm going to stop the screen share. And again, to the Boeing team, thank you all so much for being here. Can we take just a quick second and let's do some introductions, and then Kathy, I'll turn it over to you. Kathy, before I do that, I wanted to share with you all that about 55% of the folks that are here with us are E7 or below. So thank you all. I want everybody to know, no matter what rank you are in the military, that there is a role for you in our workforce, and we thank you all for making such a proactive effort to learn as much as you can. All right, so Kathy, with that, can I turn it over to you to do some introductions with Team Boeing? Thank you all so much again for being here.
Give me a moment as I just wanted to share my screen real quick.
Hey, Kathy, by the way, I do have your slides if you want me to drive for you.
Yeah, if you don't mind. And I'm really going to hit it. I don't want to go by death by PowerPoint. And so,
I hear you.
Yeah, if you want to go ahead and, yep.
I hear you.
That will kind of help me.
Let me pull it
a second,
back
I'll
up.
stop sharing. Yeah, thanks. So I think really the intent is, I don't want to go into like what Boeing does, and I think it's just it speaks for itself. But I will tell you, so if you want to learn a lot more about Boeing and the different layers, we've got the different business units. I challenge you, and I'll put it in the link, to watch Age of Aerospace, and that really it's a Discovery Channel documentary on Boeing. And to be honest, when I thought, like, I got to watch a documentary, I do not like documentaries, but I will tell you, I was completely fascinated, and it just gave me this newfound, zeal for working for the organization. And I think that for me was very impactful. So for those that are looking for an opportunity with Boeing, I recommend you do watch that. I mean, to be honest, it is a long documentary, but find those key pieces. And I think before you look at, career positions within Boeing, to really, kind of do a deep dive to understand not just, the commercial side of things, but we're talking a lot about, defense. And so I wanted to kind of introduce our team. So I'll just go ahead and change the slide to the next one, and we'll just kind of go through these slides and introduce each other, one another. And we can start off with Richard. We'll just kind of go around clockwise, if that's okay.
Hey, perfect.
Hey, you know what I'm gonna stop the screen share just so everybody can see faces really well, if that's okay, while we do the intros.
All right. Hey, good afternoon, everyone. And hey, I commend you and congratulate you on taking the initiative to partner with nonprofits as you begin your career transition and the journey into the corporate world or the civilian sector. So kudos to you. And you're doing a great job taking that step and connecting with 50 Strong. Phenomenal stuff. So good on you. Name is Rick Neno. I'm the Quality Senior Manager at the Military Delivery Center. So for a commercial derivative, so when you think commercial derivative, you see the row of tankers behind me. And then a little bit further over on the other side, you have P8s, kind of harder to see. So my team oversees, lead a team of inspectors and managers that's responsible for the quality that we deliver to the Air Force and the Navy customer facing, very hands-on with the team there. Been with Boeing for about 6 years. Started out here in the quality organization in the Puget Sound in 2019. Came up here through a rotation program. Before that, I was in Seal Beach, California, and I saw the one of the partner schools there. Embry-Riddle, got the MBA through that. And before that, came from the Marine Corps. 11 years. Most of it is F-18 pilot, forward air controller, and then maintenance division officer. So great cross-functional experience prior to transitioning, and feel your pain with the transition. Ruptured a disc in my neck, couldn't fly anymore. Was told one day by the neurosurgeon, you can't fly, go find another career. And thankfully landed on my feet thanks to the help of nonprofits like this. So happy to answer any questions as we go through the breakout room, and thank you.
Michael, you want to hop
I
in?
want to say,
Oh, sorry.
yeah, I think because I didn't have the pictures, I was trying to like, who am I
Oh,
gonna talk about?
sorry.
So it's okay. I'll just call it out. If you don't mind, James, if you're gonna introduce yourself.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? I'm James Epperson. So I'm fairly new to Boeing, and I'll tell you that yesterday was my first day as a civilian. I just retired, so yesterday was my first day. Super exciting. I've been with Boeing for about 4 months now. I transitioned straight over from active duty, and it's been a great experience. And thanks to Candy and a lot of other groups that assist us as veterans, it's great to get this information and to have these tools to be able to move in to the civilian sector to great jobs and great opportunities. For myself, if you would have asked me about 8 or 9 months ago, I was scared to death. I was lost. I was kind of wondering what direction to go. I was doubting myself. Thanks to my Airman Family Readiness Center and a lot of other folks that are out there willing to help us, I got pointed in the right direction. I'm prior Army. I started out as infantry. I was 11 Bravo out at Fort Lewis, and then also in Camp Casey, Korea. I switched over to the active duty Air Force. I decided that sleeping in the woods and on the ground wasn't good for my back. I wanted to try something else. And I was an air trans specialist and MTL on active duty in the Air Force. After that, there were 3 things I needed: stability, family, and opportunity. And I ended up, switching over to the Air National Guard as an AGR. I was the director of talent acquisitions or recruiting and retention for the state of Arkansas, as well as an in-service recruiter assisting members who are on active duty Air Force transitioning over to the Air National Guard. And now that I'm here at Boeing, I'm bringing all those skills with me, and I'm always willing to help our fellow service members and spouses. So anytime you want to reach out on LinkedIn or anything, just give me a shout. I might not have all the answers, but I definitely know how to point you in the right direction, and definitely here to help you. Thank you.
Okay.
Michael?
Hey everyone, this is Mike Sarkton. Worked with Boeing Company about 9 years. I'm down in Charleston, South Carolina. Facilities manager down here. It's a pretty big site, responsible for fleet management, ground support equipment management. We have about 1,000 cranes down here. Building management, things of that nature. Really excited to be here to help share some of my experience, help you with your transition. Sounds like a really great organization, and looking forward to the breakout rooms.
Lindrette?
Hello, good
You're not
morning.
flying.
Hi.
I love the background.
Yes, I'm in the business jet. I'm in the background there. So good morning or afternoon to everyone. And I want to first thank everyone for their service to our country, all the service members or family members who are on the call today. And I am a 13-year Air Force veteran. I separated here in the Panhandle from Herbert Field Special Operations. I was in the medical resource management field, which was an easy transition into human resources. I obtained my human resources administration degree and started my HR career with Boeing Company back in 2003. And now I'm mainly focused on talent acquisition as a talent acquisition advisor. I truly enjoy and love supporting our veterans and working with the different community organizations and helping veterans. And I did put my LinkedIn information there in the chat. So please connect with me on LinkedIn. And I just want to again thank everyone for their service. And I look forward to answering your questions and getting to know you guys today. Thank you.
Thanks, Lindrette. If we can move over to Nick, if you don't mind introducing yourself.
Hey, Nick, you're on mute.
Of course I am. A little bit of levity for us. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening for those of you wherever you might be stationed around the globe. My name is Nick Bruni. I'd like to echo James' sentiment from earlier. It's really critical and it's of immeasurable value to you to get dialed into these nonprofits and start building your network now, because I'm sure, as you've heard in the service, it's not only about what you know, but also who you know. So building those personal relationships are really, really key for you at this point in your career. Again, thank you for your service. I myself retired from the Navy in 2018. Much like James, I transitioned almost directly across the bow from the ship and walked on to Boeing. I retired in 2018. October 1st, I hired onto Boeing September 28th, 2018. So it was a really smooth transition for me. I started out as a mechanic, as a machine tool precision mechanic. My rate in the Navy was HT. I was a quality assurance specialist, as well as non-destructive testing NDI specialist for almost 20 years. Crossed over and became a mechanic, relying heavily on my wrench turning abilities on board the ship for damage control and just general 3M maintenance. And then transitioned into leadership rather quickly. Spent about 5 to 6 months as a wrench turner, and then quickly was recognized as having some leadership potential in the company and groomed in that nature. So I serve as a maintenance manager for similar to Michael, not quite facilities, but I do asset maintenance for Boeing testing and evaluation, as well as Boeing research and technology. So I manage all of the facilities and equipment that make prototype parts for not only the model shop and transonic and icing tunnels here at Seattle, but also making prototype parts for the newest models of aircraft that are being tested for various applications. So 777X with the folding wings, which being a Navy retiree, I'm a big fan of. Also various other products around the United States, both commercial and defense. So I'm really excited to tag up in the breakout rooms with you, provide you with a little bit of my experience, my background, as well as give you some insight as to what my teams do and where your skill sets could, not only soft, but hard skill sets could directly translate into employment opportunities here at the Boeing Company.
Thanks, Nick. And then we'll just kind of conclude with Kenneth, if you don't mind introducing yourself. I'm not sure if I saw Kenneth on the call or not. I'll give him a sec, and if not, I'll introduce myself. Okay.
He was on.
He's not, that's fine.
He's on mute.
Okay. I'll give him another second.
Okay. I'll start over. I'm here. You can hear me now?
We can hear you.
We can.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so good day, good evening, depending on where you are in the world. Want to share with you that I'm an Air Force retiree. I retired after 22 years in the Air Force back in February of 2001, an entire Air Force career ago. So 20 years later, here I am. what I did in the military was I was in TML, the calibration laboratory. And when I first got out, my first job I found, I jumped on monster.com at the time. I didn't even know if it's out there anymore. And I was able to pick up a job with a small company in Cambridge, Massachusetts, working on the GPS program. And it was kind of a nice departure from the military because I had an active GPS ground antenna right next to where I was working in a test facility down in Cape Canaveral. So it was kind of a neat transition. But at any rate, that small company wound up losing the contract to Boeing, and that was my entry into Boeing. And this month I hit 15 years with Boeing, so it's been a good career. It just happened that I worked the GPS program in Colorado Springs. If you work in the contract environment, sometimes you lose contracts. Lockheed Martin happened to win that contract. And that's at the point at which the team leader said, hey, Ken, we got a position in Seattle, and it's in the calibration realm. And I said, perfect. That's what I did in the military. It couldn't have worked out better. So definitely feel free, if you wind up in my breakout room, ask me any questions. Glad to help out.
Thank you so much, everyone. I'm so glad you guys were able to join. And so really the intent is not to bore you and to give you facts, you know, and kind of go through and kill you. I think the point is I wanted the platform to be able to really bring the managers from behind the curtain, bring them up to the forefront, the recruiters to be able to say, here's some things that we've seen, and to kind of really bring value, because to me, I don't bring you value if I share, here's some PowerPoint slides. You guys have been through the TAP program, and so a little bit about myself. And so I've spent my entire life, decade after decade, following the military. So my dad served and retired from the Air Force. My husband served, retired from the Air Force as well. My son actually just called yesterday. He was in ROTC program in Virginia, is in the Army Reserves, and he just told me, hey, Mom, they're going to commission me. But then it kind of made me feel like this. He went to school for paralegal, but then he called. He's like, hey, Mom, I'm going to be a field artillery officer. And I'm like, okay. And all I could think about was like, what are you going to do in 20 years? So hence why I do what I do. And so my son-in-law also is an Army officer based out of, he's there in Missouri. I can't even think what it is, Fort Leavenworth. So I have supported and come alongside, the military my entire life. In a previous role, I worked for Soldier for Life in the Transition Center. So I've seen several sides of veteran transition. I've seen it as a dependent. I've seen it as an advocate for veterans, and in my current role, I couldn't think of a better job than being able to connect managers to veterans and to transitioning service members. And so that's why I'm really thankful that Candy has allowed me to present and to share. And so, yes, I am here based out of Mesa, Arizona, actually just moving over to Avondale. So going from the East Valley to the West Valley. So if you hear any jets overhead, I apologize. So I'll just kind of go right into it, and that way we get to the breakout rooms and you can ask those specific questions. And I think it's really about, nobody wants to hear from me, nobody wants to see my face. But the reality is I want you to be able to get in front of the managers. So I'm really thankful you guys are able to be here. I recommend that you connect with myself and any manager that's on here. And if you don't mind going to the slide, and I'll just kind of hit it really high, and then we'll get into the breakout rooms. And I think that's where the magic happens. We've gone through the introduction. And so really, as you can see, connect, protect, and explore and inspire. I think that's really what Boeing's all about. And so I just wanted to hit high level, some opportunities within Boeing, and to kind of give you like, what's those pathways, whether it's aerospace, aviation, defense, pharmaceuticals, that really helping you to really understand how to connect and what that pathway is. And so one of the things within Boeing is every month I host, alongside with a recruiter and a few managers, is our Launchpad series. And it's really about career prep. And so it's not that we're trying to kill you with resume development or how to build a LinkedIn profile. I think it's because we want to provide you with a toolbox to say, here are the tools, and these specific tools work for this specific need. And so, whereas I myself have taken a screwdriver before, needing to nail something into the wall, I'm thinking I don't have a hammer. So I've actually tried it and broken it, but really being able to utilize those tools for the specific need. And so one of the tools that we have within Boeing is join the Launchpad series. And that's where I've got managers that get in front, providing, more in-depth understanding of, how to rock your resume, how to ace that interview. And that's really that preparation piece. And really, how do you promote yourself? And we've just finished up a series on, your brand within, LinkedIn. And so it's really, how do you promote that, that awareness, like, who are you? And so when I think about when I was in Georgia, Coca-Cola was, it was Coke. That was the thing. And so when you think about Coke, you think about the commercial, you think about the brand. I think about my generation was Coke. It was like the song, with the polar bear, but different things. And I think about the different McDonald's commercials, Big Mac, Quarter Pounder, just the big songs. And that's the brand. And so I want you to understand that what your brand is, on LinkedIn. And I will tell you, as somebody that's within talent acquisitions, my current role is I am the veteran talent engagement lead. I'm present on LinkedIn, not like Candy. And I'm gonna tell you, Candy was she was highlighted on LinkedIn. But I like to get on there. But the thing is, I notice things. And so one of the things I notice on LinkedIn is sometimes you could be having a bad day. And I've had a candidate reach out to me, who are actually on LinkedIn, that said something kind of negative, like Boeing sucks, something like really negative. And I'm like, okay, but what are you telling me? What are you telling my managers when you say that about Boeing, or when you say that about another organization? What do you say when I know it's not a platform for political things, but that's your brand, how you market yourself on there, and how you promote that. And so just be very cautious, and I'll just kind of keep it there. But leveraging the 50 Strong, the different LinkedIn veteran groups, and use it as a tool to kind of promote yourself. And then really taking the engagement to a different level. I will tell you, you can engage with recruiters all day long, but the reality is, and no offense to James or Lindrette, but the reality is it's better for you to connect with a hiring manager or somebody that's in a role that you want to do. So if you're looking to be an instructor pilot with F-15, find other instructor pilots on the F-15 within Boeing, because they're going to be able to help you to leverage an opportunity a lot quicker than a recruiter, just to kind of really level set, whether it's Lindrette or James or any of our recruiters. The reality is some recruiters have hundreds of opportunities, requisitions that they're managing. So if you reach out to recruiters, sometimes it's not as effective because they're managing. If every position had 100 candidates, multiply that, there's thousands of candidates that recruiters have to, connect with. So I just want to be really, candid and honest with you, because I think that's what you need. And to really equip yourself, build those rapports, whether it's on a clearance job, veteran networks, mentorships, apprenticeships, building those rapports. And then, the key piece that I would really like from the managers to pipe in is, and recruiters as well, is how do you showcase your skills and experience? One of the ways I recommend is joining a military talent network. And so what that is you join it and you tell me, here's my resume, because then I can be proactive. If you're a year out, it's not that window for you to start applying to jobs. But it's a good opportunity for me to start, like, I will use LinkedIn to look for people that are not necessarily looking for jobs. So maybe you're transitioning, you're an active job seeker, but I may reach out to you a year before you get out to proactive start building those pipelines. If I know that St. Louis is going to be increasing hiring by 1,000 people, I want to start getting ahead of, of the train before that happens. And so I may reach out, fast and early. And so I ask you, join those talent networks. If you get on there and you apply for a job, set those job alerts, because it's going to remind you, hey, I may have applied for a calibration technician, but maybe I'm not that right window, but if you send that alert, it automatically will tell you, hey, by the way, Matthew, there's an opportunity for you, check it out. That's kind of more of an automated process, but activate that, kind of really leverage that, look at those job alerts, be active. And I will say, James mentioned it, he was kind of scared as he was transitioning out. It's kind of it's a nerve-wracking thing. I actually, my dad recently passed away, and as I was going through his stuff, he retired Air Force, I found, and it was the craziest thing, I found his old resume from 1994. And I found, I don't know if anybody on the call has been in the military for quite some time, but I found his SF-50 federal application, which we used to have to write it by hand. And so that's why I'm really inspired and passionate about what I do. And so I wanted to kind of show you how, you know, the kind of those different pathways, and then we'll go to the next slide. You can go 2 slides, Candy, if you don't mind. And so some of the things, and somebody actually put it in the chat, I wanted to kind of introduce different pathways into Boeing. It's not only just applying directly to a role. It's not just being proactive and finding those positions, but it's also looking at those different training opportunities, workforce development. And so maybe you're an infantry. So I remember when I worked at Fort Stewart, a lot of them were getting out going, okay, I'm 11 Bravo, what am I going to do? All I know how to do is shoot a gun. Okay, all I know how to do is, you know, fix heavy diesel, you know, equipment. So there's different opportunities. And so these are some things you can leverage. One of them is in St. Louis. If anybody's interested in St. Louis, there's a lot of opportunities. And one of the things that they do is it's a pre-employment training, whereas if you've got some basic skills, they have a training program where they've partnered with the community college there to kind of leverage, to kind of give you that workforce training. Something that Boeing just launched, I will say, is it's called Future Force. And what Future Force is, we've partnered with, you know, Onward to Opportunity, to where if you're looking at different opportunities in aerospace, whether it's, you know, project management, IT, we're kind of doing the upscaling. And so it's an opportunity for you to kind of get those skills that maybe you may not currently have. You know, maybe you're in logistics right now and you want to transition to something different. Take advantage of some of these aerospace pathways. You know, whether it's the Onward Opportunity, there are so many different training programs. Embry-Riddle has an aviation maintenance technician there in Eglin. So really leverage those and really understand that. Go to the next slide. And these are just highlights. And everybody knows, I'm pretty sure everybody on the call knows about SkillBridge, but that is one pathway as well into the organization. And so just high level to really understand, you know, SkillBridge. I just put a quick slide. I will tell you the individual that does support this is Lynn French. But if you are interested and you want me to kind of make those introductions, please let me know and I'll kind of facilitate that. But some of the roles that they're hiring for and utilizing are, you know, cybersecurity, IT, you know, I know that we've brought on several pilots, you know, engineers do this, but to be honest, sometimes you can be creative. There's some flexibility within Boeing or any organization to say, hey, you know what, this is my background. Is there an opportunity in HR? Say, hey, you know, I want to try what it's like to be a recruiter. If you simply just say, hey, I'm curious, is there a pathway into the organization through, you know, recruiting? It behooves you to at least ask. So that's my recommendation. And I won't continue on SkillBridge, but I will highlight the nice little emblem that I updated for military friendly, that Boeing was on the top 10 employers. And so, you know, something that I'm really proud and want to just kind of highlight that for those that weren't aware. Candy, you can go to the next slide. And this is my next Launchpad series, and this is another opportunity for you to connect with managers. You know, maybe you've talked to Michael here that's on the call, or Nick, but you want to maybe talk to a specific manager, like I want to talk to someone that's more in logistics. I try and rotate different managers that come, and it's just another opportunity for a breakout room to really do a deeper dive. And so I invite you to attend. If you're not able to attend this one, every month I do host one. It's the second Tuesday of each month. And then I'll just go to the next one. And it's just to really highlight the fact that there's 50 strong out there that partner. Each company has maybe some type of a platform. So don't just be stuck on one thing. Don't just be stuck, I'm just going to go to the site and apply. I'm just going to go to Indeed, or I'm just going to go to, you know, monster.com, which I think is still out there, to be honest with you. I don't remember. So just one thing I wanted to kind of invite you to attend, let me know, and I will share that with you. Andy, you can go to the next one. And I'm going to just share this real quick, and then I'm going to pause, because I would like the opportunity for managers, before we go to the breakout rooms, to share any tidbits, tips. I I did forget to pause several times. I think I just kind of got selfish, and I apologize for taking up the time. But for those that are on the call, like, hey, I want to send you my resume. I want to connect with you on LinkedIn. This is just, if you wanted to take a picture of this, this is a QR code. This is just an opportunity for you to say, hey, here's my resume. And it's the quickest way for you to send it so that way I can share that, whether it's managers are on the call or another manager. But this is just a way for you to join my talent network so that I can, keep track, and then I can share your resumes. And it's just a way to upload your resume. It's just, to me, it's the quickest way. And then it tells me a little bit about you versus me reading your resume. But you tell me, hey, what am I interested in? I will pause here because I see Nick's got the hands up. So I will pass that to Nick, and I'll pause.
Thanks, Kathy. One thing I did want to mention is a couple of various nonprofits were mentioned during the course of our conversations here. And I'd like all of those that are transitioning to consider that while Boeing is an amazing place to work, and I'm truly thankful that I've had the opportunity to come on board Boeing almost immediately after retiring, but if the Puget Sound is not your cup of tea, or Mesa, or Philadelphia, or wherever Boeing has large presence, I would encourage you to, if you're planning on PCSing back to your hometown or your home state or somewhere close, and there doesn't have to be, or isn't necessarily the company that you're looking for, there are veteran networks and veteran nonprofits in those areas. I remember prior to transitioning, I was looking at Atlanta, South Carolina, North Carolina, the Kentucky area. So there are several nonprofits that are local. One of the nonprofits that I got linked in prior to my transition was a company called CAMPS, Center for Advanced Manufacturing in the Puget Sound. And that was really my lever to identify some really great mentors who were prior Navy and prior service. So there are loads of organizations out there. I strongly encourage you to reach out to those organizations that are local to where you want to be or the company that you want to be with. So there are loads of opportunities, especially with over the last 20 years, we've had so many service members transition out, combat veterans. They're all over the country, all over the globe. So I strongly encourage you again to reach out to those networks, reach out to those organizations, and leverage them as best you can to find that right spot, that right company that you're looking for, if location matters more than the company.
Love it.
Do I have any other managers that wanted to kind of share maybe some things that they've seen as they're interviewing candidates, and really specifically to veterans? Because I've got a slew of thoughts and ideas, but I want to be able to give the opportunity to a manager, or even a recruiter, to kind of share some things that they've seen behind the scenes.
Yeah, this is Ken. When you go in for an interview, it's so important to have that, what you call a 10-second elevator speech. And it's probably going to be more like about a 4 to 5 minute presentation of why you're a good fit for the position. And that is such an important beginning of the interview, because that's where you're able to inform the panel not only why you're a good fit for the position. It's an opportunity to present your communication skills, that you present it logically. It's just that first impression, and that'll really help if you have that ready to go.
Thank you. And I guess for the sake of time, I guess we can go ahead and go to the breakout rooms. Candy, I just wanted to thank everybody, if I don't get an opportunity to thank you. And please feel free to reach out to either one of us. And don't just attend one, meeting. Continue to use and pull all the different levers within your transition. I will tell you, when my husband retired from the Air Force, he was prior enlisted, went in as an officer, and so he sat in the back. He was a mission crew commander in the backseat of JSTAR AWACS, and he's like, "I've got this, but I want to be a school teacher." So he didn't think he needed to transition. So within 2 years of teaching high school geography, he's like, I can't do this. He's like, it's harder to teach in Savannah, Georgia as a high school teacher. And he wanted to go back into the, into aviation. It's just that at that point, then the transition started for him 2 years later. And it wasn't a smooth transition. And so I'm not saying it's easy and it's work, but because it's a lot of work, use all the tools that are allocated to you. Mentorship, ask for help. I mean, there may be a recruiter or a manager that doesn't want to help you, well then phooey on them, but just keep reaching out and then just keep connecting and then, work together and find that mentor and then kind of find what's that next step for you. So I just thank you for your time. Thanks, Candy.
Awesome. Okay. So is everybody ready for the fun part? All right. So since about half of you haven't joined a 50 strong before, I should probably also ask if you've used Zoom breakouts before. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take 30 seconds to explain how this is gonna work. And then we will open up the breakout rooms. Okay, so when I open the breakout rooms, and I'm gonna go ahead and do this now. All right, so now you should see a button somewhere on your screen that looks like this breakout rooms button, okay? So to enter a breakout room, you'll see the names of all the folks from the Boeing team that are here with us today. To enter a breakout room, what you'll do is you'll hover over the number next to their name. And when you hover over it, it will change to join, and then you click join. Okay, the numbers next to the people's names tell you how many people are in their rooms. So if you see that there's a room that 35 people are in, maybe go to a different room, right? Because the goal is for you to have as many conversations as possible. Here's what I'm gonna do. I will broadcast a message every 10 minutes as an FYI only. We will keep the breakout rooms open for about half an hour in total. Listen, seriously, this is like going to a happy hour at a large bar. If a conversation isn't going well with one person, or you're not getting the information that you need or whatever, right? Go to a different room, right? So the goal is the Boeing team is here, recruiters, managers, they are here because they want to connect with you directly and answer your questions. Meet them all during the next half an hour. Ask all your questions. Boeing team, please stay in your rooms and the attendees can self-navigate. And then to leave a room, you just click leave room. It'll rejoin you to the main session here with me, and then you can pick another room to go into. Please do this if you're attending here. So again, Boeing team, stay in your rooms. Everybody else, navigate as you wish. If you want to turn your video on, this is 100% going to help with relationship building. Listen, if you're here and you're not comfortable turning your video on, or you're not feeling great today or whatever, totally fine too. Listening is fantastic. Okay, if you have issues moving in and out of breakout rooms, please use the chat box and type only these things into the chat box so that I can quickly manually move you. Okay, so at this time, the breakout rooms are open. Folks should be able to go into breakout rooms. And it looks like many of you are already. So go ahead and pick your first breakout room and have fun. If anybody has questions for me, I'll be in the main room. Do I have any of the Boeing team that are not able to get into their rooms that are here still with me hearing my voice? Okay, it looks like the Boeing team found their way, and it looks like most of you have as well. If there is anybody here with me in the main breakout room that needs to be manually moved into a breakout room of your choice, please use the chat box and I can move you. If you can't get to the chat box, unmute yourselves and just tell me your name and where you're trying to go. Anybody need help? Henry, if you're trying to talk, I think you're on mute.
Yep, I was just going into the office.
Oh, awesome.
Let's see, I tried to get in the tech systems brief yesterday, but
Okay.
it wouldn't let me connect for some reason.
Oh,
So I tried.
sorry. We keep almost everything recorded so that you can check out the replays anytime. If you're on active duty, check out SkillBridge. But again, SkillBridge is one avenue. Do not put all your eggs in one basket, and do not give up if you get denied for SkillBridge or cannot find an opportunity. And join us next week for a session just like this with Cushman and Wakefield that I'm going to show you in a second. Really quickly, I'm a big believer in conversations with veteran employees at military-ready employers, okay? So we have a partnership with Veterati. If you've not heard of Veterati, hopefully you've all heard of it. Tell me in the chat if you have. But we have a partnership with Veterati where we feature veteran employees at some of our closer employer partners. So you can find that on our website. Again, please take advantage of that. Next Wednesday, we have the team from Cushman and Wakefield. If you have not heard from Cushman and Wakefield, they are doing magnificent things in the military space, one of the larger SkillBridge programs. And not only are Jamie and Matt going to be joining us, but I just found out today that like 5 other veterans at Cushman and Wakefield are going to be joining us. We're going to do exactly this, but with that team. Also, we're going to have a special focus on resume prep. So if you have questions about resume preparation, in addition to the Cushman and Wakefield folks, I have a resume expert that's planning to join us. All right, with that, I want to say thank you so much, certainly to the Boeing team for being here today, but also to Wells Fargo, Amazon, Cushman and Wakefield, ADP, the University of Arizona, Tech Systems, and the University of South Carolina for making everything that we do at 50 Strong possible. With that, we have 1 minute left before I've eaten into your time. Does anybody from the Boeing team have any last parting words of wisdom they'd like to share?
Yeah, thank you for doing that, for joining, and thank you for connecting everybody. And don't give up in the search, everybody. Sometimes it's a journey.
Awesome.
Yes, it is a job finding a job. Thank you for this opportunity, though. I enjoyed talking with each and every one of you.
Awesome. Thank
It's
you
a
all
journey,
so
and we'll
much.
do it together.
That's right. Thank you so much, everybody. We'll
Take
see you
care.
back. We'll see you
Alrighty.
back at 50 Strong.
Bye.
Bye.